Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jeroen Machielsen. I'm a Value Proposition Manager B2B with Orange. And today we are living the fourth industrial revolution, where the whole world is connected, in which market demand changes very quickly, in which mass customization is the norm. This means that your product and processes needs to be very flexible, which needs to be personalized. A nice example is of mass customization is Nike. So I can, via the Nike website, completely personalize my running shoes. What does make this possible? Industry 4.0. Industry 4.0 has as a goal to give you real-time control of your business. And it's all about capturing data. For example, what is happening with your resources? Where are they? What is happening in your production plant? So what is happening with your products when they leave your production plant? How are your solutions used by your clients? So it's all about data, and it's all about capturing this data effectively. And these insights will help you to increase the efficiency and the productivity of your company. Today, we see that indeed companies, organizations have understood that. So 80% of companies have digitized their value chains. Compared to 5 years ago, there is an increase of 18% in productivity thanks to industrial digitalization. And today there are about 1 billion connected objects used by companies exactly to capture all this data to make their business processes, their business organization more productive and more efficient. So, an important quote to state what I've been saying. So this is the quote of the vice president of a well-known Belgian company. Unfortunately, I cannot name the company. But he says, well, an improvement of 1% in my productivity sets me ahead compared to my competition with a mile. So it's very important that companies today take all the advantages of Industry 4.0 and digitalization to stay competitive. So what can 5G bring to this? So when we look at the data journey, companies need to optimize this data journey to optimally use all the data that is present to improve this, the efficiency, the productivity, and the data journey between the moment that a company collects data via connected devices, for example, until the moment that it is used efficiently by the company. Well, so the data needs to go through a data journey. And when we talk about 5G, we are in the transport layer. So 5G will bring enriched connectivity. So it will help companies to better, more efficiently transport data, necessary data to improve efficiency, productivity of the company. And I will come in my presentation effectively with some examples that we did in the port of Antwerp. So before we go to the use cases, there are three main 5G use case categories. The first one is enhanced mobile broadband. So when we compare 5G with, for example, 4G, it's 10 to 100 times faster. So this is a very important promise of 5G, very high speeds. You can send up to 20 gigabytes in 1 second with 5G. The second promise is massive machine type communication. What is this about? So it's the number of connected devices that you can connect per square meter. So with 4G, it was about 100,000. With 5G, it is 1 million connected objects per square meter. Very important when you want to use as a company connected devices to capture all the necessary data, to create the insights to improve your productivity efficiency. Well, with 1 million, the possibility of 1 million connected devices per square meter, you can, in fact, have an unlimited number of devices that you can use to capture this data. And last but not least, use case category is the ultra reliable and low latency communications. And this is very important for industrial companies because this will bring low latency, reliability, availability of the network. And this is a basic requirement for mission critical communications. A reaction time of 7 milliseconds. If you know that, for example, the reaction time of a human being is a quarter of a second. This is very fast. 5G is indeed faster than a human can react. So these are the use case categories. Before we go to the actual use cases, example of use cases, I would like to stand still with the different 5G setups. We have two 5G setups from a telco perspective. You have 5G non-standalone, where the 5G new radio is connected to the same core network that is as used by 4G LTE. Which will create higher speeds. So thanks to this 5G new radio, you will be able to have a higher throughput, to have higher speeds. Nevertheless, when you would like to have all the advantages of 5G, you need a 5G standalone network, which makes slicing possible. And it's very important to stand still with this feature because slicing, the creation of specific network layers for your company, will give the ability to create a quality of service. And what do I mean with that? With 5G slicing, you can allocate the necessary network resources to suit the specific requirement of your specific application you want to use on the 5G network. For example, a company that uses VR glasses that needs the EMBB use case of 5G. Okay, they need high throughput. They also need low latency. With 5G, you can create a slide where the 5G network resources that support this EMBB, that support the low latency, is allocated to this network slice, so that you have the guarantee that this will always be available. These characteristics. Sorry. Another example, so when you want like to use a business critical application, then that needs to have a very low latency, that needs to have a high reliability of the network. You can allocate the network resources that make this happen to this specific network slides in order that you have indeed the reliability that it will always be the case that your application will always work, which is very important for business critical application, specifically in industrial companies. So network slicing, important to state this, that network slicing is only possible with a 5G standalone network. What are so you've seen very nice promises of 5G. What are the hurdles of a 5G rollout in Belgium? First of all, there is the timing of the spectrum auction. So it's now planned for the end of this year, beginning of next year. So we as a telco, you would like to have, of course, the commercial licenses as quickly as possible. There are the strict radiation norms, which specifically they are stated by every region. via the Flanders, Wallonia, and Brussels. And we see that, specifically, for example, in Brussels, these radiation norms are very strict, which makes it quasi impossible to start with 5G rollout. So also there, some progress to be made. Also, big infrastructure investments. So the telco providers need to invest in their network. So big infrastructure, big investments. So we worked on this point by creating a partnership with Proximus, which names MWings, where we invest together in the network infrastructure in to be as efficient as possible, so that not that Proximus invests and Orange invests separately. No, we invest together in this new network. But we also see that there is that businesses struggle to define the business case. So they see a lot of information, you have a lot of information, receive a lot of information about 5G, but to translate that specifically, okay, what's the benefit for my organization, for my company? So that's not so evident for these companies. We also see that there is a lack of commercial industrial devices for 5G standalone network. We see that device providers mostly focus in the first place now on the B2C market, because there is very fastly big money to gain. Developing the devices for the 5G standalone network, well, there we see that we have some catching up to do. So we are also in talks with these device providers to ensure that these devices will be available for the 5G standalone network, which is very important to make the 5G promise for industrial organizations. And cooperation is needed between all the actors. So we, as a telco, we have the network knowledge. Businesses have the business knowledge, know best the challenges they have, where 5G can bring an added value. So it's important that to team up together, because together we can go faster than everybody on its own. So on the first three hurdles, we're trying to put some pressure. We invest also together with Proximus in MWings. On the last three, we already start working end of 1999. So we have created a 5G campus in the port of Antwerp, where we partner with major industrial companies like BASF, Borealis, Covestro, the port of Antwerp, together in a partnership with Deloitte and ZTE, where we start creating use cases on a 5G standalone network. And I would like to show the outcome of these use cases. And I would like to start with the use case of BASF. And thanks for showing the BASF use case video.
Well, BASF is a global chemical company. We have sites all over the world. And here in Antwerp, it's a very large scale Verbund site, but different business units, different plants. Several years ago, we designed a Tetra walkie-talkie network here. So we were looking for coverage, and we set antenna sites wherever it was necessary. Also, backup and redundancy was crucial in our design. So every other technology that would be an alternative like 5G should comply with the same requirements. We have different use cases on 5G in different places in the world. In China, there's another situation than in Europe. And even within Europe, you have Germany and Belgium with totally different situations. We have different internal customers. We have maintenance teams that have to communicate. We have operations, but also intervention teams like the medical department and the fire brigade. They have to communicate, so we are looking for technology that has a large coverage. So what do they need? Not only a very good network, which 5G surely will be, but also devices. We need not only devices that we can find off the shelf, we need devices in a chemical company. So this means they have to be explosion-proof. Also, we need applications that run on those devices. And those applications have to fit our working processes, have to fit with the existence applications, and so on. When we want to really implement our one device policy, then we have to lose the one or the other, the Tetra walkie-talkie or the smartphone. Before we even consider going to another technology that could bear this responsibility of mission-critical communications, the standard parameters of reliability and redundancy, backup, coverage have to be in place. So we need an end-to-end solution. It's just like cooking dinner. If you want to make a good lunch or a dinner, then you need your ingredients. At this stage, we're just at the grocery shop looking at the different ingredients. So 5G is certainly a very important ingredient.
Ja, een ziekenwagen komt binnen met persoon bij bewustzijn, is van de ladder gevallen, heeft zich pijn gedaan aan zijn rechterbeen.
At the moment, push-to-talk meets only the basic requirements. I think within 5G, there will be much more possibilities in future. Spontaneously, I think of video streaming, biomonitoring, localization of the fireman, sharing quick and easy information on the scene, an extra way to alarm the other people on site, etc.
Well, working with Orange was great. They have the know-how about the radio access network, but also about the real 5G core network. So this is very important if you start exploring 5G network, of course. Next to that, they also brought in some extra devices, which we need before we can implement this use case. So this gave us a head start.
So to recap the use case of BASF, so BASF currently uses a Tetra walkie-talkie network. This technology is long-lived, so needs to be replaced in the future by another technology. And BASF wants to test if 5G is indeed a worthy alternative. And indeed, it is. So the 5G network provides low latency, critical push-to-talk communication, guaranteeing priority for the emergency channels. The advantage for BASF is, so now they have the availability of mission-critical communication channels via 5G, and they would like to elaborate the features with, for example, track and trace, to indeed see where, for example, a fireman is, and they also would like to add real-time video streaming to see what a fireman sees in an emergency situation from the control room, for example. So 5G here replace an old-lived technology, plus it gives the possibility to add extra features using the promises of 5G. So the next use case I would like to show is the use case of Covestro. And thanks for playing the Covestro video.
I'm Peter Verdonk. I'm the venture manager for our ANTWERP project, which is a project that we want to implement in the coming years. ANTWERP is an intermediate that we will use to produce MDI, which is then a building block that we use later on in the production of, for example, insulation for housing and refrigerators. MDI is a strong growing market in the world, and as Covestro is willing to grow with that product, we will expand our installation in the next years. We aim to expand 185 KT of aniline on a year basis. With 5G, we go to a full paperless world. It will enable us to an efficient environment where people can focus on their task and don't lose time on searching for paper and documentation.
Now I brought my tablet. No more paper PNID, so I have all documentation from the plant available in my hand. So with every unexpected issue that arrives, I have the necessary documents to consult.
The biggest potential we see in using 5G is that we are able to connect to data online, fast and secure. 5G is for us a new technology. We focus on safe and reliable operations at best cost. 5G will help us a lot in regards to safety. If we are able to perform with the tablets online on a very high speed, then we can make our maintenance in such a way that we can get external online assistance and we prevent that people have to come in the installation.
This thing is great, but wouldn't it be better if I didn't have to use my hands right now? Same task, different device. Scan code. Start job. View image 1.
So the philosophy behind the augmented classes is pretty important, especially when we go to work in the field and our technician needs his hands free to work. By that we can support through the augmented classes. I see a huge impact of the augmented classes because through these classes we are even able to bring the operator in the control room straight to the field and he can guide the technician in his work to do.
Hello, Olivier speaking.
Hello Olivier, this is Stefan Meilemans. I have a problem here on a pump. I hear a strange noise and I see some vibration on the shaft.
Can you get a little bit closer to the pump? I think I will need to send a specialist on the field to repair this damage. What I suggest is to create a maintenance request with medium levels.
Covestro is very thankful to Orange to be asked in this working group. We see a good opportunity to bring new technology to our plant.
So indeed, to recap the use case, what are the challenges of Covestro? That the field inspections, they require a significant amount of technical information of the operator. This information is not always readily available for them. They need to search the information in the building, which means that they lose time. The solution we provided is, thanks to 5G, now we can provide them with the online, fast and secure data access via the 5G network. The network makes the use of augmented reality glasses, tablets possible. So the end advantage for Covestro is that they now have an efficient work environment. So all the relevant info is available for the operator via his tablet, via his augmented reality glasses. They can use both hands to work, so don't need to use their hands anymore to go through manuals and so on. Plus, so they can ask the help of a specialist that is in a central location to support them with specific questions. Advantage is also that this specialist doesn't need to be anymore on every location. No, they can be centralized in order that they can work as efficiently as possible. So these were two use cases we did. Important and very interesting for you is that we share the most important lessons learned of the 5G campus in Antwerp. Co-innovation is very important. So we have the network knowledge, the businesses have their business knowledge, they know exactly what are their challenges. So it's co-innovation is very important to go together faster than that we separately can go alone. It's the use cases are driven by the business and the operations, driven also by the digital roadmap these companies have. There is a need for a well-developed business case before you start. It's important that you describe what the goal is of the business case and what not. Health is an important topic for these companies. So what we did, for example, we asked a KU Leuven professor to come speak to inform the workforce committee, the company about so the potential health implications of 5G radiation. So it's a step-by-step approach to see, okay, so what's the network which devices do we need, which router. There is the integration complexity. So it's very important to work closely together, doing weekly core teams to make steady progress. And so every 6 weeks we come together with all these companies. Lessons learned are shared, and this really has a value for these companies to share their lessons learned, to share the insights. Indeed, to go faster together than we can go alone. So I would like to thank you for your attention. I hope it was helpful for you. If you would like to discover more about 5G, if you would like also to discover the other use cases we have done in the Port of Antwerp, please review them on our Start Walking 5G event website, which is mentioned on this slide. Would like to get in touch with me, you can also contact me directly via my LinkedIn page or via my email address. I would like to thank you for your attention.